that the National Identification Authority Division of the Public Sector Workers Union is on strike. The group is protesting a delay by the Finance Ministry to provide, quote, definitive commitment or timelines regarding payment of operational support allowance. A statement from the group reads that, following a resolution by the Divisional Executive Council of the Public Services Workers Union, NIA, and after a final round of engagement with the Ministry of Finance on June 23, we write to formally inform you that the union will embark on an indefinite strike action effective Tuesday, which is today. And this difficult but necessary decision has become inevitable due to the Ministry of Finance's failure to provide a definitive commitment or timeline regarding the payment of the operational support allowance, the only allowance NIA staff get to supplement their meager basic pay. This allowance was the outcome of extensive negotiations concluded in July 2024 between the Government of Ghana's team comprising the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission and the Ministry of Finance and representatives of the union. Now, in line with the agreement reached, payment of the allowance commenced in August 2024 and continued through to December 2024. Unfortunately, these payments have stalled since January 2025. Throughout this period, staff have been exercised considerable patience and restraint, largely out of respect for assurances from NIA management, who communicated that tireless efforts were being made to resolve the matter and resume payments. Well, this industrial action is not taken lightly. It reflects the deep frustration of staff who have endured this situation for far too long amidst persistent neglect. Consequently, all PSWU members at the NIA are directed to withdraw their services indefinitely starting Tuesday, June 24, 2025, which is today, until legitimate concerns are addressed and outstanding payments resumed. Well, let's engage John Sampa, Deputy General Secretary of PSWU. Officer Sampa is also Labour consultant, and he's also joining us on the line. Let me start with you, John Sampa. You say that the payments have stalled this year. Have you had any explanation as to why this has stalled?
Thank you very much, and good morning to our cherished listeners. Yes, we have had some engagement with management who said that they budgeted for it. There is a confirmation that it has been budgeted, so something might have gone wrong. They are having engagement with the Ministry of Finance and with Fair Wages and making sure that they resume. And that engagement has spanned from January until now. So management has done very well by engaging the workers, and they are the people that interface between the Ministry of Finance and also the workers. So yesterday we were invited by the Deputy Minister for a last-minute meeting, and we thought that they were just going to tell us that the money will be paid. But over there, he said that although the management had the impression that they have budgeted, they have defended, and therefore the money was available, something went wrong and that it was not captured very well in the budget. Technically, what it means is that it was not budgeted for. And so we have to give them time to find ways to get money for us. The truth is that it didn't go down well with the workers. Also because this is not a new allowance. This is not unreasonable where you say that a new government has come and you are now doing negotiation. This is not also a last-minute transitional allowance that have been given to us. But it's an allowance that we started somewhere, even 2023, and then 2024 July we concluded, and we are enjoying it. People have made budget and plans with that money. This is not so much. People, different organizations have different allowances that are even far bigger than what we have. So it is so difficult for our workers to understand why the money is not coming. The fact that we couldn't have a definite timeline that, let's say, by the end of July, you will get your money together with it back pay, or maybe you will get it maybe in August, was something that was difficult for the workers to actually accept.
So,
And that is why
so you did ask for timelines, but weren't given.
Yes, we did ask for the timelines, but he said that he cannot really say of a certainty. Well, he said his minister was not present, so he will not be able to speak authoritatively to that. But the truth is that there wasn't anything like another meeting had been scheduled, and that by next week we will draw conclusion on the matter. We thought that was not commitment enough, and
So
the workers could not accept that.
Till when will you continue the strike?
It is an indefinite strike. We strongly believe that government should definitely find a way to call the workers and let us have some conversation around it. And this is not a new allowance. This is something that they were enjoying already. I strongly believe that it is not beyond government and labor to talk this thing over and make sure that the workers resume work immediately.
Do you think you've acted too rash? I mean, government just, the new government just assumed power. I believe they're still going through situations, trying to abreast themselves with what they took the reins over from the previous administration. Don't you think you could give them some more time to come through the things and at least give you an appropriate time for you to be paid?
So thank you very much. That's a good question. The point is that if you look at the Public Services Workers Union, we unionize a number of organizations that are very sensitive, and we are the least that go on strike. The point is we have a number of issues. If you followed the Public Service Workers Union, somewhere getting to last year election, there was a series of industrial actions, and some people were even trying to read political meaning into it. So we became reasonable and we halted that process. When the new government came, our workers are on us to call strike. But we want to be reasonable and responsible that this is a new government. They are putting together the government machinery and systems, and therefore we need to give them some time. So that is not really about new allowance. If it's about new allowance, we have a number of organizations that don't have anything at all. It has been determined at Labor Commission that there is mandate to be given because those people deserve allowance. When the new government came, people are calling on us to go on strike, but we are not able to go on strike. But this one is an allowance that has been agreed already. The people are enjoying. Imagine every month, you know that you will get 2,500 Ghana cedis. And then all of a sudden, by January, you actually started getting 2,000 because something has gone wrong. You thought that within just 1 month, 2 months, it will be fixed. You have dialogue and have backdoor negotiation or discussion with your management, with stakeholders, and up to now, it has not been given. Right. So that is the reason why we are embarking on this strike.
Well, we also have on the line Mr. Ofosu-Asamoah. He's a labor consultant. But just before I go to him, very briefly, why should the customer always suffer for this? I mean, in a situation where there are issues with government, between you and government, the agreement between the client and you, why should the client always suffer for the repercussions of the relationship between you and government?
This is a very good question. And this is a question that the stakeholders should answer. That is workers, management, and the government. But the government is the key stakeholder here. You are the one that have employed. You are the one that have promised. It is your agency, Fair Wages Hands, that is under this agreement. This agreement has been operationalized, and people have already budgeted on that. How do you frustrate that agreement? And now you are not able to pay them, and they have been quiet and talking with you for almost 6 months, and you have not still been able to resolve. Government must answer this question, please.
All right, let me go to Mr. Ofosu-Asamoah. You are a labor consultant and you've sat through countless negotiations between government and workers. What is the mistake government seems to be doing? I mean, we often don't get it. They don't go through, agreements. They break their promises to pay and whatnot. Mr. Asamoah, what do you think government isn't doing right?
This issue. Yes, before I go to what the government have done right, let me just point two things out. Now, in the declaration of a strike, a lawful strike by any union, they must give notice of the strike to the National Labour Commission and then to their employers. But in this strike, I fail to see that any notice was given to the National Labour Commission or their employers in respect of the strike. So straight ahead of right from one, the strike itself is one of an illegality. Two, when it comes to the declaration of strike, they belong to the Public Service Workers Union, and the strike must be declared by the national and not the division. By reading the letter declaring the strike, it was issued by the division, and that is also wrong. So the legality or lawfulness of the strike falls flat on the face of the law. Now, in listening to him, this is an allowance we have negotiated for, prisoner allowance, which has been paid over the period in 2024. It is unfortunate that he said that it was captured in the budget, not captured in the budget, or the details of it was not given, for which they have been negotiating. So this is not the one where the government has reneged or has cancelled the allowance. It is perhaps a lapse in the capturing of the detail. And where allowances or certain expenditure are not captured in the budget, that is why there's always a supplementary budget. And I'm sure that is always coming almost in July. So if they have waited up to June and the government has not cancelled it from what he has said, and that is one of the delayed payments, it is just a one of continuous negotiation, right? And one he has said that there's been assurance upon assurance. So it's one of performance. This is where the executives of the unions must show leadership. He keeps saying that the workers won't strike, they won't strike. Do you declare a strike because your workers or your followers are saying that go on strike? Well, if you even want to go on strike because you have pressure from your members, why not take the right route by giving the requisite notification to the Labour Commission, to your employers, right? And then perhaps once you give the notice to the Labour Commission, there is an intervention from there. They would then invite government or the minister or whoever is responsible that we have this on our hand, an impending strike, because you have not done this. What steps are you taking to correct it? You see, you have negotiated with them. There's been assurance that there has not been delivery. So there's always a need for a third-party intervention. So that is why you must notify the Labour Commission of your strike. Immediately the commission will go into action. But sitting there and declaring a strike because you have not got your operational allowance, you are being paid. They are receiving their full salary, I'm sure. And they have withdrawn all of their services just because of operational allowance, which has not been cancelled, but one of the delayed payments. I think the strike is an unfortunate one. They should reconsider it. And the executive must show leadership by impressing upon their members, yes, to, go back to work while they negotiate, or call in a third party, that is the National Labour Commission, or any other body that could intervene. You see, these opportunities are available for settlement.
Mr. Samoa.
Yes.
Yes. This dates back to June 2024. And
yes.
The government, you were there then, I assume.
Yes.
You sat through and they were being paid. But this is where we do not know whether government, conveniently took it out or not. We haven't heard the side of the government. I'm coming. If I can make my point. If I can make my point. And these people have had conversations with the Minister of Finance, at least if it was an omission, we haven't seen it, we'll work on it. But there's no assurance that moving forward, this will be included in the next budget or the mid-year budget, or even that at this time we're going to pay you, or even we cannot pay you because we do not have this amount of money. There's some form of uncertainty, and with that, it makes the workers distrusting of the government as to whether they'll pay or not. Don't you think they're also trying to push for their right here?
Yes, they are trying to push for their right, you might say. But how do you push it? You push it for necessary costs. You see, he said that from the interview granted, he said there has been an assurance. There was then it offered. And then he said that in the budget there was an omission. However, there has been an assurance of payment, except that there has been a deficit that has been. You and I know that when the budget is read and there are omissions in the budget, right? It is captured in the supplementary budget, just about 100 they are silent. You see, so that is why I'm that yes, you have a government paying, they have not resolved it. They just one of payment. And it has explained that the failure died in the earlier budget. But you press for it, that the supplementary budget. And this is not done by declaring strike. It is done by negotiation. And if negotiation has failed between the two parties, you call in a third party. In this case, the National Labour Commission. Yeah, it's a lawful institution to mediate or to get into it and help resolve the problem. But you have failed to bring in the National Labour Commission by giving the requisite notice and just declaring a strike. You see, it has become one too many that people don't want to negotiate. People don't want to take the route.
Why do you think that is? Don't you also think that maybe this union, supposedly to be the referee, is not also helping, which is why they don't trust the commission to go to the commission with their concerns?
They have not said they don't trust the commission. They have only failed to seek the assistance of the commission.
Okay.
Not because they don't trust the commission. Because the law says, even if you don't trust the commission to resolve it, the law mandates you notify them if you want to go on strike. So notify them. If you are not calling for their intervention, they could have written for the commission to intervene. But they are not written. So you want to declare strike. Now the law says if you want to declare strike, notify the commission. If you want to declare strike, it must be by the national and not the judiciary.
Okay. Okay. Right. Let me get a reaction from Mr. Sampa. Mr. Sampa, so you heard Mr. Samoa saying that your strike is even illegal because you did not, get to the National Labour Commission to even get your concern across to them, to get their advice. What do you say to that?
Okay, so thank you very much, and my greetings to Honorable. Honorable, I think you should have asked questions for clarification before you conclude that we have not written to the National Labour Commission. First and foremost, we have given notice about 1 month ago. Even the National Labour Commission wrote to management to address our concerns and to also ask us to exercise restraint. We called up that strike action. We wrote another notice and said that we will start our strike action that is yesterday, Monday, but the minister intervened. The letter that you are reading is because we suspended the notice we have given already. Is a letter to our members to say that today the strike is beginning. So it is not that the employer is not aware of what we want to do. Even national security operatives have called some of us and have actually have some engagement, and the management also saying that the matter will be resolved. In fact, last week, management organized they issue a press release also to say that the money will be paid very, very soon, giving everybody assurance that perhaps this month we will even receive the money. So it is not like we just wake up and then we say we are going on strike. We have given adequate notice, and this one was just a confirmation that while we should have started the strike yesterday, we have resumed it because the negotiation didn't go well. Secondly, the National Union have not said that they don't actually sanction. It is our style. But the point is that the National Union 100% sanction and use our agent as a divisional union to actually issue this notice. Though this notice is issued for and on behalf of the Public Service Workers Union, and we fully accept that. So you can't also say that we cannot declare a strike in that manner. You also agree that if they said it has not been budgeted, there is a mid-year budget review which will happen in July. What prevents the minister to give us a firm assurance that in the mid-year review, we will put it in it and that you will get your money maybe in August? What prevents the minister from saying that? You were not at the meeting. I said we were asking for definite timelines, and the minister was not convincing that in the mid-year budget review, it will be budgeted if there was an error and that we should quickly go. He could have even written a letter, even to explain these things, so that when there is an issue like this, everybody will read and will understand it. And when we come to National Labour Commission, anytime the workers do something and we come, you will say that it is illegal. But when you have a contract, a legitimate contract with your employer, and the employer actually breach it, have you ever said it is illegal? And what kind of punishment have you given to the employer before? So the point is that from where you are coming also as a former executive secretary of the National Labour Commission, your theory has been that there shouldn't be any strike at all. You think that there should be negotiation forever. If it is your money that have not come up to this time, will you say that when people have actually had patience right from January, do you know the kind of engagement we have had? We have had engagement. We are not in charge of budgeting. It is the management and the Ministry of Finance that are in charge of budgeting. We are not supposed to follow them in their budget defense. Ours is to work. So if we have done all this and something has gone wrong, what is too difficult from saying that we will budget it in the mid-year budget review, and in August you will receive your money? If you have written such a letter and we show it to all our workers who have gone on strike. So this is the bare fact of the matter, and not that the workers. You, Honorable, know that the PSW will hardly go on strike. But if you hear that we are going on strike, it is because something has happened.
Mr. Asamoah, please, being a referee or a former referee in this matter, what then is the way forward now?
Yeah, you see, I have not disputed their entitlement. Neither am I defending the government in failure to budget for it. But what I'm saying that in exercising your right, you should go by the rules. Right. He has just said that it is their style. But you see, it is not the style of a union to do their own thing against the law. You are saying that the division declared it and they have the sanctions of the national. But it is the national that must declare it. The national has not come out, and your letter does not state in the national has sanctioned it. If the national sanctions the strike, let national issue a letter or a notice of the strike. Two, you are talking about suspension of the strike, which should have come earlier. That is not known to the law. You issue a notice of a strike or this thing. There is an intervention. And from that time, the negotiations have gone on. If negotiations have broken down, and for that matter, you have to resort to a strike, you give the requisite notification that failing of the negotiation that was going on, or mediation, or whatever process that was being used to resolve the matter, we are declaring a strike. But if you say that you give notice of a strike, there's an intervention, negotiations have gone on over a month or two, then because it broke down, all of a sudden, a day or two, you go and declare a strike. That falls flat on the face of the law. Suspension of a strike is not known to the law. You are either declaring a strike, you are on strike, or you call it off. Their entitlement for their allowance, yes, it has been approved. And even there has been a performance, the government has done it before. Then they have to continue, unless they have cancelled. I may be sorry for them for the delay. Of course, we recently heard of the nurses and other people who are also in the line. I think that this is the government, we all know the situation. I'm not defending the government. But if they really want to go on strike because of the delay, they should take the necessary steps in the face of the law. I also urge government, already salaries are low. Those even receiving their full salaries and allowances cannot perform the duties they have to perform. So the little that is due them, government should give it to them. So if they have agreed, of course, it may not have been budgeted for. And that the minister must also come out. If you give them the assurance like they have said, it is not the money. But once they get the assurance that created in the mid-year budget or some time for them to get it, they are ready to work. So government or through the minister should do something about it for them to go back. And then the union leadership too, I'll plead with them to exercise restraint and leadership and not to be pressed and pressured upon by their members. Declare strike, and then you go and declare strike. But if it is a matter of non-payment or delay, then you see everybody go on strike.
All right.
That is my experience.
All right.
So I'll plead with both parties to be law-abiding. And to be law-abiding by performing if part of the contract as agreed for the payment. And then the labor union too. The leadership must show leadership by urging upon their workers or their supporters to stay put while they continue to negotiate. The National Labour Commission is there to assist. So please, that is my word for you this morning.
Thank you, Mr. Asamoah. Thank you also, John Sampa, Deputy General Secretary of PSWU. We're grateful for that engagement on this strike. And you